Hello everyone and welcome back to the Ross MC Radio. I talk about stuff I like to talk about. Now, the Ross MC Radio is a new podcast I started. If you've seen on my YouTube channel, I have a podcast that's called the Ross MC Radio, and I already have 3 of my scratch rants there. And on this podcast, I'm just going to be talking about random stuff that I like to talk about, or stuff that I really hate, like either way. And I'm hoping to get a semi-regular recording schedule. I'm going to try to record I'm gonna try to make an episode at least once every week, but I'm pretty busy, so no promises that I'm gonna be able to make an episode every week, so just keep that in mind. And with that, let's just get on with the episode. Today we're gonna be talking about Scratch again, but we're not gonna be talking about Scratch again. I'm gonna be ranting, but I'm not gonna be ranting specifically towards Scratch. I'm gonna specifically rant towards one of the users on the website. And let me tell you, that user's one of the absolute worst people I've ever seen. Like, I already talked about him in my second Scratch rant. He was the second guy. But there was a recent development that happened just a few days ago that inspired me to make this whole episode in the first place. If it wasn't for that, I literally wouldn't be making this. And I'm really astonished and surprised at how absolutely persistent this guy is. But before I talk about him, I need to talk about the backstory of what led up to this whole situation in the first place. So as you know, I'm as Ross MC, I helped Nicky the Kitty 777 with making her Nano Gets Grounded series. And some other grounded series, Karen and Katie Gets Grounded, that was mostly me. I came up with the McCarransons and the Bensons, mostly. So, recently, the NGG, the more epic episodes, have been more made by Nicky the Kitty herself. So this situation affects her more than me nowadays, but I'm still gonna talk about it anyway, because I still helped with it, even if it was a tiny bit, and it still affects me a little bit, So basically, when we first started making Nano Gets Grounded, we uploaded all of it to Scratch. Because we started making NGG 2 years ago, but back then we didn't have a YouTube channel yet, so we uploaded them just to Scratch, and then a few months later we started a YouTube channel to upload our NGG to. And it's a good thing we did so, because otherwise we would have quit NGG a long time ago if it wasn't for the tens of thousands of views we got from YouTube. And almost 2K army of supportive fans. So if any of you Nicky the Kitty fans are watching, thank you very much. The success you brought to our channel you've really encouraged us to keep making these awesome grounded videos for you, so keep it up. We'll keep it up as well, and we're not gonna stop making NGG for you guys anytime soon, trust us. But back on track here. You've noticed, if you've been keeping up to date with the channel recently, you've noticed that a few months ago, we stopped uploading our episodes to Scratch entirely, and all NGG episodes were now YouTube exclusive. There is a very good reason for this. And this user I'm going to talk about is the whole reason we stopped. Well, not entirely. There were a few other plagiarists, but those were nothing compared to this one. And like before in the previous rant, I didn't say his name because I didn't want to be targeted by him. But I have no choice but to mention his name, at least, well, his Scratch name, not his real name, like his Scratch account name, because there's absolutely no, we have to get him banned somehow. So we have to say his name so that you guys will help us ban him, because he's been so horrible these past few months that he absolutely needs to get banned, right now. If anyone deserves to be on the wrong end of this incredibly horrible Scratch moderation, it's him, I'm telling you. So anyway, let's start from the beginning. In January of this year, we were busy making the season 2 of our NGG, and while we were doing that, we got contacted by someone who is reportedly a fan of us, and his name was OMS5. Now, we can't exactly remember what he first said to us, but I'm pretty sure we remember he wanted to be our friend, and he also, Nicky the Kitty told me that he also kept saying some pretty random stuff in our comments, but we were really busy, so we pretty much ignored most of it, which is why I can't remember it today, so. But anyway, that's not important. What is important is the fact that, and he claims to be a fan of Nicky the Kitty, but as you know, not all fans are good people. There are a lot of, toxic fans out there, and this OMS5 was one of them. So basically, we kind of ignored him for a little bit because we thought he was just another one of our Nicky the Kitty stans who wanted to get in contact with us. But then it got worse. But then it got worse. We decided to look into this OMS5 guy's profile, and then we found that he made a project with our OC, like the slime OC, not my OC, like Nicky the Kitty's OC. He made a project with her OC, and he literally like killed it. I think I can't exactly remember, but that's what Nicky the Kitty told me. So I'm going off the most reliable source I can find here. All right, yeah, like Nicky the Kitty is pretty forgetful, so she still can't really remember what that project was like a few weeks ago. But anyway, so obviously we weren't happy about this. Like, imagine you find a project of your OC getting killed. Would you be happy? You know, unless you're into your OC getting killed, I don't think anyone would be happy with someone making a project like that out of them. And I'm not sure if this was some kind of a hate project or something, or maybe some kind of way to get back at us because we ignored him. But actually, I don't think that's the case, because I just realized that the project was made before he started bugging us, so he likely discovered our OC and began using it before he contacted us for the first time. So he knew about us before we knew about him. But the worst part about this, he hadn't given credit to us. He didn't give credit to us, and he didn't ask us for permission to use his OC at all. He did it without us knowing. And like, you know, with the terms and conditions with re-uploading and remixing our NGG, we were pretty strict about that. And we didn't want our OC getting stolen, so we kindly contacted him and asked him, can you please give us... Yeah, so we kindly asked him to give credit, but guess what? He didn't give credit. And we also told him that you needed to ask us for permission before you use our OC. You know, and OMS5, if you're listening, do you know this whole situation could have been avoided if you just nicely asked us for permission, and if you asked us nicely, we would have let you. Like, we're not overly strict people. We would have let you if you just asked nicely. But no, you decided to do this first. So if you're watching, remember, you brought this upon yourself, not us. So don't you dare blame us and say it was our fault for everything when you were the one who provoked us into this conflict in the first place. So like, yeah, as soon as we asked him to ask for permission and to give credit, he became defensive and started saying we were haters. I legitimately cannot think of anyone more entitled. I mean, first you steal our property, and then when we nicely ask you to give us credit, and to ask us for our permission, you say we're haters. Like, the sheer level of entitlement here is exploding my brain. Like, I thought I had made the most entitled character ever when I made Karen McCarronson for Karen Gets Grounded, but no, there's someone in real life even more entitled. And one of the other things OMS5 was bugging us about was to make our NGG widescreen. Like, you know, Scratch projects, they have a fixed stage size, so you can only have it like a rough square. But on Turbo Warp, which is a Scratch mod, you can remove the stage limits and you can make NGG widescreen, like I said in my part 2 of my Scratch rant. And I guess it makes a Scratch project look better on like a TV screen or a movie screen or whatever. So yeah, he kept bugging us to make NGG widescreen, but we were too busy for that because we were like, I don't know, working on the actual NGG for YouTube and such. And so he decided, oh, well, if Nicky the Kitty isn't going to do it, well, I'm going to do it myself. And that would be fine with us if he'd only gave credit or asked us for permission, but no. So, like, obviously, when we saw that he had made a widescreen of our NGG without our permission or without giving any credit, we were pissed. So, like, we approached him again with an ultimatum. We were like, hey, man, you gotta give us credit or ask us for permission next time first, or else you're gonna have to take the project down. Oh, and then he became even more defensive and called us, like, very bad haters, and also made, like, hate projects out of us, and also me, because I defended her on my own account. Oh, and he also included the Nicky the Kitty OC and my RawSomeC OC in his profile picture. So yeah, he changed his profile picture now, but it has the OC of one of our friends, so... Oh, but even worse, after this, we had released our NGG episodes 21 and 22 on Scratch by this point, and for some reason, in the days after we approached OMS5, they had suspiciously got banned. Both of them banned, gone. And coincidentally, around that same time, he also stole them and made them widescreen. Like, I've never actually seen the widescreen project because it probably only works in Turbo, and we've never seen it because we didn't want to give this guy any support. And then we got a suspicion. What if he mass reported them to take them down so that the auto remix would disappear and then his would seem like the original project? Like in my when I said in the second part of the Scratch rant, that's one of the most evil things you can do. Now obviously when a project gets banned, you can't the Scratch team isn't gonna tell you who got it banned, but we have a very high suspicion that it was probably Almost 5 mass reporting our projects so that his would seem like the original. Like, I literally cannot think of anything more evil. Like, OMS 5, why are you actually doing this? I need to know, are you okay? Like, what caused you to go down this path of just blatant plagiarism and toxicity? Like, this genuinely blows my mind that people like this exist. And my faith in humanity and the Scratch community has been utterly shattered. So, like, this incident was infuriating. We were raging, we were fuming, we sounded like train horns and steam was coming out of our ears. Like, but mostly me because I'm a rage addict and I made this podcast to rant and to rage and to let all my feelings out about these sort of topics that I really hate and are very passionate about hating. So after this, we decided to quit Scratch forever. Well, just the website. We still use the Scratch programming language because I think it's pretty good. We still use it to make NGG to this day, and we're not going to stop making our NGG on YouTube anytime soon. But from now on, all NGG episodes are now YouTube exclusive, and I hope you really understand why. So if you are on Scratch and you want to see it on Scratch, I'm sorry, you can't. Maybe one day when he gets banned, maybe we will, but there's no promises yet. I'm not gonna promise you that we're gonna upload it onto Scratch again. But like the risk is still pretty high. Even without Almost 5, there are still plenty of other people like him on Scratch, like those plagiarists, absolutely disgusting people. Like, these Scratch plagiarists are some of the most sad people I've ever heard of. They have a massive skill issue at making anything good themselves, so they steal it and only want the money, this fame, and attention, the money if you post it on YouTube because you can't make money from Scratch, but still. And since you want attention so much, we're giving you all the attention right here. Too bad it's gonna lead to you all getting banned. Like, maybe they should try putting in the hard work and effort that it takes to make something like this. Like, we started with literally nothing, a blank Scratch account, blank YouTube, and we built our grounded empire from the ground up, no pun intended. Like, all by ourselves. So, there is no reason why, like, you guys, there is no reason why you can't do the same thing as we did. You just need to put in the hard work and effort and maybe some smart strategies, and then you can build a grounded empire just like we did. And you'd probably get more fame anyway if you're original creator. People are going to love you more. But no, you decide to take the scummy route and you steal all our hard work and all of our original ideas, and you just make those into videos yourself. Like, it's just pathetic. So anyway, back on subject here. After we quit Scratch, OMS 5 was devastated. Why? Because if we don't share Scratch projects anymore, there isn't going to be anything for him to steal. Even though he was the one who caused us to quit Scratch by constantly mass reporting our projects and stealing them, and giving us no hope of this website anymore, and causing us to quit it forever. So, like, yeah, after we quit, he basically went in our comment section and started crying and begging to us to come back to Scratch. Come back to Scratch, please! Why don't you come back to Scratch? Make your NGG on Scratch again! Oh, and even worse, he even sent death threats. He was like, you come back to Scratch or you will die. And that's literally what he said. I'm not exaggerating. Like, I have screenshots. I have proof. We took a lot of screenshots from this, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you a lot of the screenshots just as evidence. Just to prove how horrible of an individual this guy is. Oh, and also, he kept pestering us and bugging us for, like, the next month. Like, and also, he hated the Anderson family, and he was so entitled, he thought he could control our entire series, so he said, you get rid of your Anderson family in the next episode right now. Surprise, surprise, we didn't! We're in charge of the series, not you! So that when we uploaded our next episode, it still had the Andersons family. They were like, how dare you! I saw N. Andersons in your next NGG episode. How dare you kill your Anderson family right now? Like, are you freaking serious right now? The amount of goddamn entitlement in this guy, I swear, it's more than maybe like half of all the Karens on Earth couldn't win against OMS 5. Like, at this point, I have been ranting for 15 goddamn minutes about this guy. And this guy also had an alt. It's called Naomi the Frog, and I can't remember the number at the end, but you can just search it and you'll find it. And you gotta get OMS 5. If you have Scratch, please do this for us. Please go to Scratch and go report OMS 5 and Naomi the Frog's profiles. Like, I don't want to say mass report, but at this point, I feel like it's the only option. And I'm gonna put the link in the description to all of his accounts so that you can easily go there and get him banned. And one day when you click the link and the 404 page pops up, victory has been achieved. Oh, and also his alt, Naomi the Frog, he was at first he disguised himself as someone else and not OMS5, and then he literally tried to manipulate us into giving him his assets. Like, he's a master at this kind of stuff. Like, where did he learn these skills, bro? And I can't exactly remember what he was manipulating us to do, but it was probably just to give him his assets and shit, and come back to Scratch and share our NGG again. But we can't really remember because, like I said, Nicky the Kitty is forgetful, so we're gonna move on from that now. And I'm gonna talk about the recent development. This is the most horrible thing he's done by far. And also, before I get into this recent development, I'm gonna warn you, there's gonna be a lot of raging ahead. So if you don't want to hear some edgy teenager screaming over some Scratch user, you can leave right now. Like, I'm giving you the freedom to do so. So yeah, and one more thing, on his alt, he literally tried to impersonate us. Like, he said, like, hey, I am Nicky the Kitty 777, and I'll be coming back to Scratch in the summer. Like, no, that's false. We're not coming back. Like, ever. Like, if you know us, you know we're not coming back. So if you see anything like this, you just report it and, like, don't believe it because it's absolutely not true. We're not going to come back to Scratch at all as long as this guy exists. And that impersonation thing happened around the time I was making my second Scratch rant. And now let's get into the recent development. This is the worst thing OMS 5 has done by far. Now, have you ever heard of Block Live Share? It's essentially this Chrome extension you can download, and then with other Scratch users, you can actually do, like, online multiplayer Scratch coding. It's pretty cool, I think, and it's a great way for a lot of people to collaborate on a project, as long as you trust those people. And, like, Nicky the Kitty and I were pretty busy making NGG, so any help would be appreciated on Block Live. So now I'm not telling you to go. You're not obligated to go help us code NGG. But like, it is an option. You can sign up to Block Live and you can code NGG, and you can code NGG with us only if you want. So, like, just a few days ago, this is a very recent development and it's still ongoing. A Scratch user by the name of RookieMan13152, I can't remember the exact number, but I'll provide a link to their account in the description, came to us and said they wanted to help us code NGG. They seem pretty fine. They seem fine enough. They seem like a casual Scratch user with, like, a Super Mario profile picture. So, like, yeah, he seemed fine enough. So we fired up Block Live and we walked him through the process of getting Block Live, which was hard as hell because the stupid AF bots kept banning the word Block Live. Like, another thing I forgot to mention in my third part of the Scratch rant is the Scratch bot, the Scratch comment bots are just so horribly brain dead that they ban words like Discord and like, they also ban Scratch add-ons. Like, Scratch add-ons! Why do you need to ban the word Scratch add-ons? Like, I get that they don't want people to install third-party software, but Scratch add-ons is a godsend. It's a gift from God. It improves the Scratch experience so much, and if you're coding without Scratch add-ons, you're missing out. But it's worse that it's really bad that Scratch actively hates on this amazing piece of third-party software. In fact, they hate all third-party software. Like, BlockLive's also third-party software. And, like, BlockLive's also third-party software, so they also block that. You know what I think a personal reason why these bots keep banning these third-party software? At least most of these third-party Scratch software, for the most part, greatly enhances and improves the Scratch coding experience. Scratch is jealous of that. Scratch knows they're never going to be as good as them. So they ban them just out of pure jealousy because they're just mad that that their website and their platform's never gonna be good enough. But anyway, back on topic. This rookie man guy approached us, and we walked him through the process of getting blocked live, and eventually, after like a bunch of fiddling, after like an hour, he got into our NGG episode 30, which is man. So after he gotten in, we showed him around, and he was hopping between sprites. But the project was probably so complicated that we thought maybe he was a bit lost and didn't know what to do. After all, NGG episode 30 is our most epic episode yet, and it's so complicated. Like most casual Scratch users today, they would probably not be able to code that. Like Nicky, she's a true master at this, man. Like I used to think of myself as the NGG master because I did all the good coding around here, but recently I've been losing interest in NGG, and more of the work has been done by Nicky the Kitty, and she's become better at this than I am. I'm better at Vyond, honestly. Like I specialize more in making grounded videos in Vyond, but we stopped doing that a long time ago to save time for NGG. So anyway, back on topic. But anyway, this rookie man guy spent a suspiciously long time AFK in the project, and he said he had to go away for a while in the chat, but we could see that clearly he was still there because we could see his icon hopping between sprites. He was in a lot of the sprites, and one of the sprites he went to was a sprite of one of Nicky the Kitty's best characters. Like she made it all by herself. I'm not gonna spoil it. You have to watch the episode first. But he went into there for a suspiciously long time. Nicky the Kitty tasked him with coding in another sprite. Not that sprite. He went to the wrong sprite. Now, what was he doing in there? Like, what the hell could he possibly need with that? We wondered for a bit, but we were no wiser back then, so we didn't pay much attention to it. And coding session for the day ended after a while because we had to go. But the next day, we had when we went back to NGG episode 30, we noticed that a lot of it some of it was completely broken. Like some of the scripts were completely broken, and now the whole project was broken, and we had to spend a bunch of time fixing it, which was frustrating. But we just assumed he probably didn't know how to code it and probably accidentally broke it. But then we saw his latest comments. He posted a lot of comments on our profiles, and his English skills sounded suspiciously like someone we'd already known before. We began to have a growing suspicion, so we blocked him from our NGG episode 30 immediately once we came to the realization. If this rookie man was OMS 5, he could have been stealing our most epic episode yet! And all of the assets and hard work and months that were put into that project would all be for nothing if he had stolen it. Like, probably not for nothing, but still, he'd probably get still some of the fame and attention. Like, oh my god. Luckily, we're so lucky that this happened. But the NGG was only half finished, meaning OMS 5 now has a half finished script to work with, and if he tries to upload that, he's gonna get in trouble because it's not complete, and he has such a skill issue at coding, he won't know how to make the ending by himself. And besides, even if he did it, 2 endings would be completely different, so it would be pretty clear that his was a bootleg. We realized we should have never let him into the block live because even a few minutes is enough to copy the project files and all of the assets. Like, we were genuinely shocked and bewildered that someone would go to such lengths just to steal our projects. Like, oh my god. Oh, and when he was really upset about being kicked from the project, then we told him about our growing suspicion and asked him, if you ever want to see our episode again, you have to prove 100% you're not OMS 5. He did a terrible job of doing this because he made up lame excuses like, his English skills, everyone does that. I was actually AFK, I wasn't doing anything. Like, stupid stuff like that. And he also claimed that Nicky the Kitty was giving him instructions to do stuff that she never actually gave. So, like, he was great job at making herself look innocent, OMS 5. And, and the episode also contains all of her friends' OCs. He better not steal them, or he's gonna have an entire army after him. And then when we questioned him more, he was like, no, please, don't talk about that. Let's just get back to coding NGG episode 30. Please let me back in, please. We don't need to worry about that OMS 5, okay? Yeah, OMS 5, we're gonna believe that. Great job trying to prove your innocence and trying to draw suspicion away from you. You're just making yourself look even more suspicious. Maybe you should have learned better English before trying to infiltrate our project. Oh, and guess what? 2 days later, guess what? He did it. He re-uploaded our NGG. At that point, we were like, I knew it. I knew he was OMS5 the whole time. Like, we're genuinely shocked and bewildered that someone would be this persistent in trying to steal our energy. Most thieves just give up after they get contacted, but no, not this one. Like, what's he gonna do next? Is he gonna wait for 10 years for us to share our projects back on Scratch, and the moment we share our projects back on Scratch, he's gonna steal them? Like, us, and he seems to have no, he seems to have no comprehension of copyright systems or personal property or anything like that. Imagine in like 20 years he tries to pirate a Marvel movie and says that it's his own movie, and he tries to show it in a movie theater, but he gets arrested because you can't just pirate a Marvel movie like that. Like, genuinely, that seems like something he would do. Like, yeah, you know what? But I think I'm done. Like, I'm just done talking about this guy. I gotta move on now. So, anyway, we're good. So I'm just telling you, you gotta go report this guy. We'll give you links. Like, we have all the screenshots. We have evidence of what he did in the video. So if you'd please just go to the links in the description and go ban him. And go ban him real quick for me. And for us, for the Nicky the Kitty channel, that'd be great. Anyway, bye. Thank you for listening to the Ross MC Radio. And I may get the next episode of this podcast may be about something that isn't so rage-inducing. So anyway, this is Ross MC signing off.